Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters, our programme that gives you the very best of France 24 from around the world. Their children are chanting for jihad or holy war, but their parents claim that they're moderate and are in favour of living peacefully alongside Christians. Our report is from Egypt, where the long-suppressed opposition group, the Muslim Brotherhood, is becoming increasingly organised and vocal. Egypt has seen attacks on Christian churches and doubts over peaceful coexistence. The revolution in Egypt has brought change, but many people are still angry at what they see as a lack of real change. Well, the Muslim Brotherhood could be best placed to harness that unhappiness, but to what end? And are the reassurances that extremists aren't part of their equation just hollow, when members openly talk of establishing a Muslim caliphate across the whole world? Well, this is our exclusive France 24 report with the Muslim Brotherhood. It starts in the Nile Delta, birthplace of overthrown Hosni Mubarak, whose hardline rule did most to suppress the movement.
Children are among those out on the streets to welcome the supreme guide of the Muslim Brotherhood as he passes through Manafea in the Nile Delta. This region, birthplace of ousted President Hosni Mubarak, is today draped in the colours of the Brotherhood. Its supporters no longer have to hide their allegiance. The supreme guide is visiting the town of Shabin el Koum to open a new branch of the organisation. In charge of the opening ceremony is former MP Ashraf Badr Eddine, one of the movement's most influential members. He's a figurehead whose sympathisers can now support without fear of imprisonment.
The whole world is waiting to see our plans through our political party Freedom and Justice and through our work with the people.
The organisation is aiming high. It has to grow quickly to make the most of the new atmosphere of freedom and gain ground. Even before any elections have taken place, many supporters already have grand plans.
Today they're reaping the benefits of their work. In the long term, we must install an Islamic caliphate based on the law of Allah all over the world, God willing.
A caliphate made up of a federation of Islamic states was the dream of Hassan al-Banna, who founded the Muslim Brotherhood in 1928. The current supreme guide, Mohammed Badi, has stepped closer to achieving that dream. For the past 60 years, the group has only known suppression at the hands of the state. But the years underground are over. In itself, the opening of this centre symbolises a cut with the past.
A new era has begun. We've overcome evil, corruption and despotism. We will build our country on values and principles worthy of Egypt in all its aspects, Muslim and Christian.
Outnumbered, the police become a part of the crowd. A wave of people follows the supreme guide, and thousands of supporters are up ahead. They sing the national anthem to show that above all, the Muslim Brotherhood are patriots. These young supporters repeat the motto of the Brotherhood. Our path is jihad, or holy struggle.
We in the Muslim Brotherhood say from the bottom of our hearts, the will of Allah is our goal.
The Muslim Brotherhood are coming out of the shadows, but with caution.
All these activities and all these opportunities available to us now through official bodies or in civil society will allow the brothers to prove their ability to lead society towards freedom, justice and reform, as they've promised.
Just a few months ago, this sort of event would have been unimaginable. Members of the Brotherhood are filming it for their own television channel, a key weapon in the battle for hearts and minds. The channel they're launching is called Egypt 25. The first guests on the new channel are all Muslim Brotherhood members who were militants in the movement's early days.
I went into the prison cell. There were 7 other prisoners in there already.
The channel has hired professional journalists who aren't all members of the Brotherhood. such as presenter Ashraf Al-Balkini.
القنوات الأخرى اللي كانت موجودة قبل الثورة لا زال حتى الآن كل هذه القنوات تتعامل.
Other channels which existed before the revolution are wary of the Muslim Brotherhood. Members appear on those channels only to defend their ideas, but they've never had the chance to really put forward the projects that they're planning for Egypt's development.
This guest is a former political prisoner. On set, he recalls Egypt's colonial era.
Under the British, there was more freedom than today. I was able to walk around with the weapon, not far from here. We had ammunition as well. No one questioned us.
The right to bear arms is a touchy subject for the presenter. Themes that could scare off public support aren't welcome here. Meanwhile, the channel says it's planning to invite guests who are known for their anti-brotherhood views.
We're recording the first episode. There will be others. Our guests will come from across the political spectrum. Don't worry.
Television captures minds, while social work captures hearts. That's what pharmacist Hatem Ali does for the Brotherhood.
Where are you going to hang that?
Over at the mosque,
Which one?
the Mosque of Ali.
The biggest one around here?
That's right.
In a few hours, this local branch of the Brotherhood will become a clinic for the poor.
No problem, you get the medicines. We'll sort out the ones that have expired.
Everyone will need medication.
No problem, if we need to, we'll go to the drugstores. I don't do politics.
Are you part of the Muslim Brotherhood Party, Freedom and Justice?
No, nothing to do with it.
You're simply a Muslim Brotherhood member?
Yes, a member of the Brotherhood, but only spiritually. When you do something good, it's for God. It's not for the Muslim Brotherhood. And all the members should act like that.
Nevertheless, the Brotherhood's logo is everywhere, such as here at the mosque and inside in the makeshift clinic. These good works are the Brotherhood's main means of recruitment, and it's effective.
People like us, and it reassures them to see our slogans. It's a question of trust.
It's a question of trust between us and the Brotherhood.
You trust them?
Yes, hugely, thanks to what they do. They do a lot of good for us.
The woman is here to have her son looked at for a problem with his knees. What's the diagnosis?
An inflammation of the knee joints.
How do you know?
Because of the sort of pain. I've examined his legs, it's normal.
The mother trusts the diagnosis. Here, dentistry is practiced without instruments. Just words.
How old are you?
10.
Those who benefit from this free medical aid are potential voters in the upcoming elections. To take part, the Muslim Brotherhood has started its own political party. Another town, another banner. But the method is the same. We're in the town of Zakazek, north of Cairo. Nagi Naguib was the first Coptic Christian to join the Freedom and Justice Party in this region. His membership has confounded his own Christian community and delighted the Brotherhood, who say that having a Christian member shows that they seek consensus across all groups. In their discussions, they avoid controversial subjects such as recent Muslim attacks on Christian churches.
We must have a constitutional state based on democracy.
Everyone equal before the law, with no distinction between Muslims and Christians.
Alcoholic drinks are sold in Egypt. What do you think of that?
We would refer it to a parliament elected by the people after free and fair elections.
Farid Ismail's own view remains unclear. But his answer would reassure those outside the Brotherhood. We follow the party representatives to a final meeting. The electoral campaign is already underway, and the speakers are refining their positions. Are you going to run as a Christian?
Why do you focus on that? I'm an Egyptian citizen, an Egyptian citizen. There's no difference between Christians and Muslims.
You agree with the application of Sharia law?
Whether or not I accept it, I live in a society which is 90% Muslim.
The campaign is set out for the political meeting across town. Well organised and disciplined, the meeting has a dividing line down the middle to separate men and women. The size and professionalism of the meeting shows the Brotherhood are serious about gaining power. In this part of Cairo, not far from Tahrir Square, we find the headquarters of another group called the Egypt Current Party. Many of those who started the party are young members of the Muslim Brotherhood, but they're politically separate. And like many in their generation, they're experts when it comes to using social networks.
Look, you see here I'm on our party's Facebook page. It's got more than 4,700 likes. We follow their contributions and reply to the requests for information.
The page also advertises party members' TV appearances. But because of their independence from the political arm of the Muslim Brotherhood itself, they're considered dissidents and are known as such in the media.
Some of us are in the Brotherhood, others aren't. The media emphasize the idea that we're dissidents because it sounds good for their audience, but the reality is different. There are a number of streams of thought in our party.
A few days after we filmed this, Islam Lotfi was expelled from the Muslim Brotherhood. His freedom of opinion didn't fit in. This is a young party, and they work together.
I don't like the way the pyramids are done.
Is it possible to move the pyramids a bit?
For Hind, it's possible to separate from the Brotherhood politically without leaving its ideological roots.
I joined the party with my ideas from the Brotherhood. That's not necessarily bad for the party. True, the Brotherhood has principles, but my ideas never collide with those principles.
I am part of the Brotherhood, but I do think that you can act politically in an independent way, in dialogue with the party that the Brotherhood has created.
But with dissent not easily tolerated within the Brotherhood, it's difficult to know exactly how they'll work within the confines of a democracy. They say they won't compete for a parliamentary majority or put forward a presidential candidate. In the meantime, they'll continue to shape society as they have here for decades.
France 24's Adel Gastel joins us, the reporter that led the team that met with the Muslim Brotherhood face-to-face in Egypt. Adel, good to see you. Are the Muslim Brotherhood jihadists or not?
Alors, il faut savoir que le djihad
fait partie de la devise of the motto of the Muslim Brotherhood from a century ago, roughly. It is said in that motto that the jihad is our way. When you look at the official logo of the Muslim Brotherhood, you can see two sabers that are crossed, with the first word of the first Quran verse, which calls to the jihad. Prepare yourselves. So yes, obviously the Muslim Brotherhood, when it did appear, it was a brotherhood that called for jihad. And it was in the context of a fight, a struggle against British occupation. And you can see in the report one of the first Muslim brothers, an old gentleman, who, when he speaks, he's sort of speaking nostalgically, and he said, once upon a time you could walk freely with your weapons, your guns, and you can no longer do that today. And then he's interrupted by the journalist, who's very embarrassed, because, you know, these are things you don't say about carrying weapons in Egypt today in the international context that we're aware of today.
We met one woman who was very happy taking her child to the doctors. My question concerns the whole role of women in the Brotherhood completely in their society they'd established. Is there a role, a positive role for women?
C'est ce que veulent montrer les frères
That's what
musulmans,
the
notamment
Muslim
à travers
Brotherhood
une
wants to show.
mise en scène parfaite, mise en scène au sens théâtral.
There's a kind of a
Quand vous
theatrical
allez sur
presentation of this. When you
dans les
go
meetings des frères
to the
musulmans,
meetings of the Muslim
à chaque
Brotherhood,
fois, vous
every
remarquerez qu'à
time you will
l'extrême
notice
droite
that on the extreme right-hand side
de l'estrade,
of
il y a
the
toujours
stage,
une
there is
femme. Oui, le
always
message
a
est
woman,
clair,
and the message is
et
very
même
clear,
ils disent,
and they even say
ouvertement,
very
la
openly
femme a
that
sa place au sein
women do
de la
have
société
a place
égyptienne
in the
telle que
Egyptian
nous
society
l'imaginons, les frères
as we
musulmans, et
imagine
à
it
chaque
as the
fois,
Muslim
les frères
Brotherhood, and every
musulmans
time
obligés de
they feel
préciser
obliged
le rôle de la
to
femme dans la
talk about the role of the woman
la société égyptienne telle
in the
qu'ils
Egyptian
l'imaginent.
society as
Pourquoi
they imagine it
pourquoi ils
to be.
insistent là-dessus? Parce
So why
qu'ils
do we
savent
insist
qu'ils
on that?
sont
Because they
attaqués
know
sur
that
ce
they're
point-là,
attacked
sur
on
la
that particular
liberté
point,
de la
on
femme, sur le
the
respect
freedom of
des
women
droits
and
de
respecting
la femme. Ils
women's
savent que
rights.
de toute façon,
And
on
they
va
know
parler du
that be that as it may, they're going to talk about the Islamic veil.
la question qui est
But
très
if you like,
gênante,
the question that's a real problem for them, you don't necessarily get an answer to that question, and that is, are all Egyptian women, will they all have to wear a veil, yes or no? And we don't get a clear response to that question. No, yes or no.
What about coexistence with Christians? Quickly, do they mean it or is it just words?
Oui, alors, c'est la même chose. Ça relève de
It's the same thing, really. It's the same strategy. The Muslim Brotherhood have a real strategy of communication. They want to appear to be a consensus, a consensual force. They feel that there are attacks against churches. They want to reassure the Christians and the Egyptian population more generally. And what they do want to show by this kind of belonging of Copts to the Muslim Brotherhood is say, hey, look, we're not like these savages that attack churches.
Adel Gestel, thank you very much, and thank you for watching this programme. You can catch it again on France24.com. That's Reporters. Stay with us.